The morning sun emerged slowly, casting golden rays across the Thames, illuminating the iconic silhouette of Tower Bridge. Henry, an old fisherman with weathered hands and a gray beard, stood at the edge of the dock, gazing out at the shimmering water. The gentle lapping of waves against the wooden posts harmonized with the distant echoes of the bustling city awakening above. Today, like every other day, felt ripe with promise, but there was something in the air, a subtle shift that stirred his soul. With practiced ease, Henry lowered his boat into the river, the familiar creak of wood blending with the playful calls of gulls circling overhead. He adjusted his cap, feeling the cool breeze brush against his aging skin, a reminder of the countless sunrises he had witnessed here. As he prepared to cast his nets, he closed his eyes for a brief moment, embracing the tranquility that wrapped around him like a warm blanket. Henry leaned against the sturdy wooden rail of his boat, his gaze drifting toward the fog-draped silhouette of Tower Bridge. The memories of decades spent fishing on these waters flooded back to him, intertwining with the gentle sway of the Thames. Each ripple whispered tales of sailors long gone, lives woven into the fabric of this city that bustled above the surface. He recalled the stories his father had shared, of the bridge's monumental construction, filled with hope and dreams, and of the whispers carried by the winds that lingered over the water. These tales breathed life into the city, where ancient stone met modern ambition. Below, in the depths of the river, unseen currents flowed. It was a world rich with secrets and echoes of the past. Henry smiled softly, knowing that every cast of his net held the potential for new stories to emerge. Each artifact he might catch a thread connecting him to the stories yearning to be told. The bustling sounds of London thrummed like a heartbeat above the tranquil waters of the Thames. Henry, seated in his weathered boat, closed his eyes momentarily, allowing the symphony of life above to wash over him. The distant honking of cars and the faint murmur of conversations contrasted sharply with the gentle lapping of the water against the hull. It was a reminder of the world that moved so swiftly, often oblivious to the stories lurking beneath the surface. As he cast his gaze toward Tower Bridge, its grand arches stood as a sentinel over the river, a connection between past and present. Henry began to ponder the lives of the fishermen who had come before him, each leaving their mark on the water. He often felt that the river held their memories, intertwining them with his own. With each ripple, he sensed the continuity of life, a flowing narrative that never truly ends. As Henry adjusted his fishing nets, a strange unease prickled at the back of his mind. The morning light, usually a warm embrace, felt oddly cool, as if a shadow had swept across the scene. He glanced at the water. Its gentle ripples now seemed almost jagged, reflecting a tension in the air that he couldn't quite place. The distant sounds of the city above, the honking of cars and the chatter of pedestrians, appeared muffled, swallowed by the thickness of the moment. Something was afoot. It tugged at his heart, leaving a whisper of apprehension. Tying his boat securely to the dock, Henry inhaled deeply, savoring the familiar scent of brine and wood. Yet, even the whispers of the Thames seemed to resonate with a deeper secret today. As he grabbed the handle of his aging boat, he sensed that this day would unveil stories long buried, beckoning him with a strange allure that sent shivers down his spine. With a gentle surge of anticipation in his chest, Henry leaned over the wooden edge of his boat and felt the familiar rhythm of the river pulling at him. The early morning sun cast a golden hue over the water, each glimmering ripple a promise of the day ahead. He grabbed his net, worn from years of use, and took a slow, steady breath. The stillness wrapped around him like a comforting embrace. As he cast his net into the shimmering depths, the sound of splashing water harmonized with the distant echo of city life. Each throw felt ceremonious, a ritual that connected him to generations of fishermen before him. As the net sank, he closed his eyes and listened intently, the gentle lapping of the Thames merging with soft whispers carried by the breeze. Today was different. A lingering sensation thrummed in the air, beckoning him to discover what stories lay beneath the surface. As Henry cast his net once more, the water surged gently underneath, and an unusual weight tugged at the cord. With steady hands he reeled it in, the anticipation thrumming in his veins. Pulling the net from the depths, he was met with a shrouded object glinting faintly in the morning light. It emerged, a tarnished antique compass, its needle trembling as if still searching for direction. Memories wrapped around him like mist. He heard the whispers of sailors lost at sea, their hopes and dreams echoing in the still air. "The tides hold more than fish," he murmured, holding the compass close. Just then, a cool breeze rustled the water. An image flickered in his mind, a sailor on a stormy night, desperately seeking his way home, clinging to this very compass. It was a story he couldn't know, yet the weight of it felt heavy on his heart. What other secrets lay in wait? Henry's heart raced as he brought the net closer, revealing a gleaming object tangled within its fibers. It was an ornate locket, its surface intricately etched with swirling patterns that caught the light filtering through the water. He carefully opened it, revealing a faded photograph of a young couple, their faces brimming with joy. A whisper echoed in his mind, a soft voice filled with longing, recounting moments of laughter and stolen glances on the streets of London. This locket had seen love transcending time. As he gently placed the locket down, the net tugged again, and he pulled out a rusted key, its edges smooth but worn, suggesting years of handling. With it came a sensation, an echo of a door closing forever, memories locked away, waiting for someone to remember. Each item he retrieved felt alive, recounting stories buried beneath the surface, urging him to unravel their tales. As the mist thickened along the river, a figure emerged from the haze, catching Henry's attention. The young woman looked out of place, her attire a blend of modern sensibilities and old-world charm. She approached his boat, curiosity brightening her eyes as she leaned closer to examine the artifacts strewn on the deck. "Those are remarkable pieces," she remarked, her voice carrying a hint of awe. "Do you mind if I take a closer look?" Henry nodded, taken aback by her genuine fascination. Introducing himself, he learned her name was Sophia, an aspiring historian on a quest to unearth the stories that the Thames guarded within its depths. They exchanged stories of their lives, and Henry felt the warmth of her enthusiasm wash over him, igniting a spark he hadn't felt in years. In the serene ambience beneath Tower Bridge, the river held not just history, but a connection that was beginning to take shape between them. As Henry and Sophia drift gently upon the tranquil waters, the atmosphere hums with an unspoken bond. She gazes at the artifacts scattered in the boat, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "What stories do you think they hold?" she asks, animated by the thrill of discovery. Henry smiles, his voice rich with nostalgia. Each piece is a whisper from the past, tales of lives intersecting with this river. He shares fragments of his own history, weaving in threads of laughter and heartache, revealing the love he has for the river and its secrets. Sophia, equally passionate, recounts her journey, her dreams of uncovering forgotten narratives. She speaks of those who lived by the Thames, of the laughter and tears that echo against its banks. Their stories intertwine, creating a tapestry of shared purpose. In that moment, amidst the lapping water and distant sounds of the city, they are more than just strangers. They become stewards of history, united in their quest to unearth the river's mysteries. Sophia leaned closer, the mist swirling around them as she shared the legend of the Whispering Souls. It was said that beneath the Thames, spirits of those who never found peace lingered, their voices merging with the currents, desperate to tell their stories. Each rising tide brought whispers of unfulfilled dreams and lost loves, binding the past and present together in a haunting embrace. Henry listened intently, his heart quickening as he considered the artifacts he had pulled from the depths. The engraved locket, the compass circling aimlessly, had these belonged to souls yearning for closure? He recalled the fleeting visions that had danced before his eyes with each catch. Could my finds be connected to their stories? He pondered aloud, his voice barely above the gentle lapping of the water. As he gazed into the depths, a shiver ran through him. The river was alive, holding secrets waiting to be unveiled. As the sun began its gentle descent, Henry and Sophia made their way downstream, the soft sound of paddles slicing through the tranquil waters of the Thames. Conversation flowed easily between them, stories melding as they shared laughter and dreams. Sophia leaned over the side of the boat, captivated by the shimmering reflections dancing in the water, while Henry recalled tales of lost ships and sailors who navigated these very currents. Their bond deepened with each shared anecdote, the air around them thickening with the weight of forgotten histories. "This river is a storyteller," Sophia mused, gazing at the arches of Tower Bridge looming closer. The atmosphere began to shift. The gentle breeze transformed into a notable gust. The surface of the water rippled with a sudden energy, as if the Thames itself recognized their quest and anticipated what was to unfold. A sense of magic hung in the air, urging them onward into the unknown. As they glided closer to the majestic arches of Tower Bridge, the calm river began to pulsate with an energy that made the back of Henry's neck prickle. The once gentle lapping of the water grew chaotic, and he could feel a current pulling at the boat, a whispering insistence that something momentous was about to unfold. A sudden gust of wind swept through the air, casting a spell of unease over them. The artifacts, nestled between them, started to vibrate softly, as if they were alive and aware. Henry exchanged a glance with Sophia, both sensing the shift in the atmosphere. Shadows flickered around them, intertwining with the shimmering reflections of the bridge above. They were no longer just fishermen and historians. They were now participants in a story that transcended time, one where the past demanded to be heard. With each ripple, the air thickened, and anticipation hung heavy like fog, enveloping them in its embrace. As they drifted closer to the arches of Tower Bridge, a sudden gust of wind swept across the water, setting the surface ablaze with shimmering ripples. The glow of the artifacts intensified, illuminating Henry and Sophia's faces with an otherworldly light. A chorus of soft, wavering voices rose from the depths, weaving in and out like ethereal whispers. Each voice seemed to carry a fragment of a life once lived, echoes of joy, sorrow, and unresolved longing entwined in the gentle lapping of the river. Henry felt a shiver down his spine as familiar stories surged within him, intertwining with memories of the past. Sophia clutched the edge of the boat, eyes wide, captivated by the swirling energy around them. The air thickened with emotion, as if the very essence of the Thames was revealing its heart. Together they listened, becoming part of something larger, a tapestry of souls yearning to be heard once more.